First off, great crew here, man. Appreciate y'all coming out to cover what's going on. Obviously, been a really exciting summer for us. Coming off a big year, but this is a brand new one. It's training camp day one, and even the coaches, you kind of still get butterflies, man. Day one, it's always exciting because a lot of hard work goes in. A lot of hard work goes into it, obviously the guys are the ones putting the work in, but it's fun to kind of finally get here and get closer to that first one, man. So we got a lot of work in front of us, the next 20 days or so, before we get into a game week. But our guys are excited. They've done unbelievable work. They're having fun doing it. That's the best part. So coaches included. I think the continuity on the staff is always huge. The player buy-in's huge. And I just think we're in a really good place, ready to attack the season, attack every opportunity, attack every challenge, and be aggressive in how we do it. I think that's going to be evident, from the first whistle of training camp. So you guys got any questions? Like you said, special teams, defense, outside backers, whatever you guys got, I'd be happy to answer them.
Well, maybe the biggest answer in the whole, and the coach, the coordinator that's got the most pressure on him is the guy's got to come up with a new kicker after, you lost a pretty good one there. Just talk about that process and also getting better at the mechanics of snapping and all of that. Just talk about that's a lot of work that needs to be done.
There's no doubt, man. The one we did have was pretty good. You couldn't have a better person, obviously a better player. And the season he had last year, obviously referring to Kenny, was years in the making. But it was because that kid believed in himself, and he's still got an incredibly bright future in front of him. He's, day to day, different NFL teams calling him, trying to get him in for workouts and all this. So his NFL status is ongoing and very much just in the beginning stages for him. Because after what he did last year, I can't see how that guy don't kick in a pro. Like, there ain't 30 kickers better than him or 32 kickers better than him out there. So unbelievable leg, and we were obviously fortunate to be a part of it. That's all we were, man. And when he's got a season like that, I think everybody enjoys it. It's just special to be a part of. I mean, talk about the first All-American, the only All-American in school history. And that's, it's incredible. And then you had two of them, the guy holding for him and the guy kicking it, because Dalen wound up being a second-team All-American guy. So, really good battery, obviously, that you got to replace, but certainly excited about the guys that are in that role now. I think that you got guys that had talking about work while they wait, have been here for a number of years, and the spring was unbelievable. It was really exciting to watch them compete with each other, because I think that's where everything starts, is competition. You got to have competition. So we've got three really good ones that are working right now for that job. And the spring was really impressive. I mean, you'd think you'd have, two Groza winners out there competing in the spring the way they kicked. They had a really good spring, man. We get, 8 kicks a day in a team setting. We're going 8 for 8 almost on the regular, moving the ball around hash to hash, different depths. And those guys were locked in. I think the biggest part of that position is, from the neck up, in my opinion, in having the confidence to go do it and keeping them in the right headspace. And they're both, Tony and Logan are both competitors. And Breck, obviously we took Breck for a reason, because I believe he's wired the right way. Last year in the state was a really good state for kickers in the high school ranks. Number of them went D1. They were all here at our camp, recruited all of them, and we were able to pick. Breck was the guy we wanted. And for him to join us, we're super excited about that. I think he's going to be really, really good. And right now, his job is just come in and push and see what happens. Each kick, it's just you, the ball, and the posts, man. I don't care about nobody else. We got to get it in, and we got to compete. And at the end of the day, make my decision difficult. And I think that those guys are doing that. And I love the way they approach it, the toughness, the work ethic, the competitive level. I think we're going to be in a really good situation where you got 3 of them that can go put it between the pipes. And then obviously there's the kickoff piece of it too, that we're going to work through more of that in fall camp now and see, we can get consistent with that and see what that looks like. But, I think you got versatility. You got a righty, you got a lefty. I think that part is fun because, it kind of leaves you a ton of options as a coordinator in terms of, on a kickoff, where you teeing the ball up. You got all kinds of flexibility now. But 2 battle-tested kids who have been in college for a long time. You got a young one with a ton of ability. And we're excited. That competition is really important. There's no question about it as we approach this camp and the success of the team. Kenny don't do what he does last year, and I don't know that we win 10 games. He hit a lot of big ones that put us in a situation where you're not chasing points throughout a game. You're playing ahead. You get 3 whenever they're there. You're not missing extra points. Like that's, That's got to happen. So that's the expectation. That's the standard. And these guys, you worked with them last year, and they don't want to be the reason the standard changes. So we're really excited about it.
Do you have any, whether you tell us or not, right? Is there an order, a 1, 2, 3 kind of head into camp?
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Yep. Yeah, so that's another, to me, competition right now at the holding spot. I think the summer's been more productive for us than it ever has because we've had these competitions. Like, it ain't just starting tomorrow. It's been going on, so obviously since spring. But we were able to have those summer OTA workouts where we are intentionally building in reps and situations for those guys to go operate so we can find out, hey, who do we need to be looking at here for those spots. So in terms of having a pecking order, not really. I think that my biggest goal for the two guys that were here in the spring, being Logan and Tony, was to come out of it healthy. And I said, I want to pick between, this was obviously before Brett got here, I said, I want to pick between the best Tony Sterner and the best Logan Klotz. Make me make that decision. So they both had great springs. So I think we're in a really good spot there. They came out healthy. They came out strong. They came out feeling good, positive, confident, all that. And now it's, let's go to work. Now we're going to compete for it. So I don't think there's a pecking order, really. And then in terms of the holder, Hunter Sims has snapped for us a little bit. He's been back there a little bit. He gets the most reps because he's with the specs a lot. Landon Struther's a guy in the receiver room that we like. He's got great hands, very athletic, smart, tough, dependable, all the things that we look for. Dale Martin's in that mix. Certainly Lunch Winfield is in that mix in terms of giving you some versatility back there at a holding position. So it's kind of been, when you start, all right, how do you replace, obviously Dalen Cambry's one of the best in the league, and he's going to go do it in the NFL now for a reason. So, but when you start, you kind of start with a big net. Hey, who could possibly do this job and give us an advantage there? And then you kind of narrow it down. Okay, maybe it's down to these 5, these 4, these 3. And we'll just keep narrowing that down to see last man standing. And obviously the kickers they got a big say in that, in my opinion, because that kicker-holder relationship is really important, as it is a snapper. So, but those guys have all done a great job competing. They've all developed. They've all gotten better throughout the summer. Excited to see where it goes, man. I really am.
When you look at what you have coming back in the return game, Zylan Perry, Rob Williams, just how excited does that make you? And kind of what is the next step for what you would like to see out of them?
Yeah, I think that, Zylan obviously had the huge year 2 years ago, and then obviously got banged up last year, opened that door for Rob. And Rob was nothing but tremendous in that role. He does a year of that, he's an All-American returner. There's no question in my mind. So it's another great decision that we're going to have to make. And I think it could be a game-to-game, flow of the game. Hey, is somebody a little banged up? Hey, did Zylan just play 7 in a row? Maybe you go Rob. But to have those two as possibilities is enormous. And then also I would say Darrell Smith is firmly in that conversation. The mid-year freshman that got here at running back has done a really good job, takes it very seriously. Excited for you guys to see him because he's got a demeanor about him that he's here to work and he's here to win a job. So you talk about putting a guy like that in a room, makes everybody's urgency go up. So I think Darrell's been great. He'll be in the mix there. I think Jacorian Norris is another player we've got on the back end that redshirted last year that is physical. He's big. He can run. He will run through the smoke. He'll hit it. So you got a bunch of guys back there that give you some options, and that's a good place to be for sure. Great question. So obviously that one's a little different, right? So it ain't the same. People think just because you can put them back there in Madden, it's the same position, right? It ain't the same. It's a different ball. It's different landmarks. It's different variables you're dealing with in terms of coverage units. The same guys will really be in the mix, but maybe their skill sets play a little differently. Maybe one guy's got a leg up here, another guy's got a leg up at the punt returner. Punt returner to me is about being tough, and we want to lead the league in fielded punts. What I hate seeing, what I don't want to see, and I always make it clear, I don't want to see a ball land in front of us for 2 yards and it bounces for 18. It's like we just got sacked on first down. We don't need to have that happening. So we got to be aggressive in getting to the ball, getting to my spot and catching it. Because we don't want to be losing field position because we let a ball bounce 2 yards in front of us. Part of that is my job, making sure the guy's lined up right. Hey, is it wind? Is the guy having a bad day kicking the ball? Let's move him up a little bit. Let's move him back. Whatever it is, we got to get that guy positioned correctly. But then again, we don't want to give up heading yardage there where you lose 15 or 12 yards. That's a first down. The offense works really hard for us. Let's not give it up. Our goal is to go make a first down in the punt return. We don't want to give one up. So, the guy that's the toughest, the most dependable is going to be the guy that goes back there. And I think it'll be an ongoing situation, whether whoever's out there against Rice doesn't necessarily mean they'll be out there against Monroe at the end of the year. You know, it's ongoing, and we're evaluating it every single day. But we're going to get a ton of work. We've gotten a ton of work this summer. I mean, after every lift, they're out there on jugs catching balls. You know, whenever we could. We got about the worst time pop-up storms in Lafayette I've ever been around. Every time we go for a 4 o'clock practice, here comes the lightning and thunder, so we got to go inside. But whenever that happens, obviously it's a lot harder to catch punts, but you can still get your jugs work in. So they've been, I mean, you talk about hundreds of bank reps they've been able to get this summer, which is really important.
Y'all have y'all have rules as far as punt returns, like certain yard lines where you guys, inside the 10, how do y'all operate on this?
Yeah, I think that's a team by team. I've talked to different coordinators, and you watch, there's a ton of tape you can watch, team by team kind of philosophy. In terms of where exactly we're going to put them, I don't want to release too much. You'll see against Rice, it ain't going to be out hidden much longer, but we're going to be a little more aggressive there than we have in the past because I want to make the punter really, if you're going to pin us in there, go ahead and hit it perfect. We don't want to leave this guy. If you put your return on the 10, the punter's got 9 yards to work with to try to drop you in there. We might be a little more aggressive there because, again, I want to say, all right, if you're going to be good, let's be really good. Go be an All-American, hit it inside the 5 or something like that. I'm not going to give you 10 yards to try to pin us because, to me, that situation when you're punting around midfield is one of the biggest plays in special teams because it's a major field position swing. It really is. You can touch back that thing. You're not at the 20 or 25, or you can pin it at the 1. That's a 20-yard play. So whether we're punting or we're on block, we got to be really, really good there, really efficient in that area. And then I think part of the philosophy is like, hey, we don't punt a lot in that area. We're typically a very aggressive offense. We're going to go for it depending on the 4th and D. But we got to be really good there. I think that's a great question. And I think it's very relevant to the day-to-day conversations that we have. And, yes, we have a rule in place, and it's going to be more aggressive than it has been in the past.
One of the magazines does analytic numbers a lot, and they've got UL special teams ranked in the top 3 in the country in 3 of the last 5 years. It's overall special teams, and in the top 10 4 of those 5 years. What's the reason for that?
The players. I mean, we've had a culture here. I've been here 7 years now. This is only going to be my 2nd year as special teams coordinator, but I've been a part of those groups to watch the players work, watch the coaches coach, watch the coordinators do what they do. We've had some really good coordinators in here. We've had some really good players in here. And the culture, our special teams culture, I mean, every team we talk to, man, y'all's buy-in is unbelievable on special teams. The other staffs will tell you these kids play their ass off on teams. They are chomping at the bit. These guys take leadership roles on those units. They take accountability on those units in preparation. But they have fun. They have fun. For us, our kickoff cover team last year was like freaking, we're running down I-10. We could have been in the left lane. We're freaking out there trying to get it. So we love it. We have fun with it. We compete. There's a toughness, but also an understanding where they truly believe that it leads to wins. And that's why games turn late in the game or field position changes. And I think a big part of it is, like I said, all the 6 units. But again, a year like last year, you got a Groza winner. You're naturally going to be bumped in that area. But we were good in all the areas last year. I think we led the country in explosive returns, 26 plus, which was great. That's a function of having Robbins Island in there. Guys that can make magic with the ball, man. I always tell them, whichever 11 go out there, you better believe there's magic on that field. We got to go make it happen because we've got the players to do it. Like, we're not sending guys out there, hey, let's just get through. We're going to make a play every time we go out there, and those kids buy in, and they freaking love it, man.
What you have overall in your return game, all of those guys that you mentioned, what's kind of your expectation of what that side of the special teams can really be?
Special. Obviously it starts with 100% ball security. Got to get the ball, especially as it relates to punt returns. I don't care who's back there, whether you got a Hall of Famer or you got a walk-on, got to catch the ball first. So that's always the number one thing. Like we said, in the punt return game, we want to lead the league in fielded punts. In the kickoff return game, we want to be freaking smart with it, make good decisions back there. Not every ball is returnable. And I think that's part of, the approach, hey, knowing what we have back there, how many teams are going to kick it to us. That's also something you may run into. But we'll be ready because you got a chance to maybe put 2 of them out there at once. All right, you're going to kick it to Rob or you're going to kick it to Zylan. You can pick. So that's another way you can diversify yourself and kind of really bulletproof yourself against some of those alternate schemes. You may see sky kicks, bunts, squibs, all those things you run into. Once you have explosive return game, that's something that you may invite. But we welcome those challenges and in those situations. But I think the standard and the expectation is as high as you can be. It's sky high, and we all want that for each other. We want that for the boys, and they work for those results. You know, they want to be special, and we're going to make it happen for them.
Last year, y'all didn't punt very often at times, but when you did, it wasn't. You kind of got spoiled by Reese for a few years.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? What does it take to get to that to get back to that level?
Yeah, I think year 2 for Nate's going to be really big for us. I think last year he was kind of finding his footing. It was a different system last year he came from. Now, with that said, I really kind of tailor it to him because I said, listen, we're getting Nate. The thing about Nate that makes him really good is all the different things he can do. He's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. He's got all kinds of tools in his bag that makes him hard to defend because you don't know where the ball's going to go. You don't know if he's rolling. You don't know if he's going to be in the pocket, where he could go left. He can go right. He can roll right, kick left, roll right, kick right, all kind of variables. It's all open. So he gives us that flexibility, that versatility. And I think in year 2, having a whole spring to work where the protection's going to be, where his footwork, where his shield is, that helps in a whole summer. He didn't have any of that last year. So last year, we got a little bit of a delay in the visa situation last year. He probably didn't get here till June 15th or something. And it was like, all right, hey, here's what we're doing. We were in communication, but he wasn't able to work with us. Now he's got a whole spring of here's who his flyers are, here's who his shield is, and he knows exactly who's where, who's what, the teams he's going to play in, the stadium he's going to play in. I think all that's going to be really good in terms of his comfort level. And again, he just gives you so much versatility, flexibility in the punt game in terms of what he can do. And he's an older guy, he's 27 years old. So you talk about having a guy that's mature, tough, there's no flinch in his game, which we love. I bounce ideas off him, he bounces them off me, and it's a very cohesive relationship that he and I have. And quite honestly, the whole punt unit, we're in there together. Jake St. Andre is kind of the captain of that punt unit, and we're all meeting together. Like, hey, Jake, here's what we want. We want to kick it like this. We got to protect it this way, but we all got to be in sync. And I think year 2 is going to be. I think we were good last year. I think we left some yards on the table for sure, but we're going to try and get it all this year. And I think it starts being on the same page.